Hey, my friends, Ilse here. Welcome back. Today is part 5 of rewiring ourselves for overflow. So, today I'm going to dive with you into the power of immediacy, proximity, familiarity to essentially prime your nervous system, prime your body, prime your brain for the dream life and the dream business that you desire. So a big part of creating and receiving more is about actually making more feel comfortable in the body. It's about normalizing more in the body and priming the nervous system in such a way that more actually starts to feel not only safe and comfortable, but expected, natural. So in this part of the work, what we're doing is we're increasing our capacity to be in abundance. And because of that, it's not just about being able to receive more, but we're becoming the frequency of overflow. So not only are we activating it out there, but we're activating it inside us to the degree that when overflow starts to show up, we don't freak out. We don't freeze. We don't start to resist or armor because it feels too good to be true, or it feels too much, or it feels too soon, or whatever other BS our brain and our body will come up with when we are not primed for the success that we want. So what you're doing here is essentially, by priming your body, by normalizing it, you're increasing your capacity for it. You're making it so that the experience you desire actually, and holding more, becomes second nature. It becomes so familiar that you never have to worry about sabotaging it or getting overwhelmed by it. So what we're doing here is we're learning to steep, like just like a tea bag, we're learning to settle, we're learning to steep in the expansion of ease and wealth by creating an experience in your life that matches what you want in a small dose. So for example, this is a silly example, but it would be like, it's like building your tolerance, essentially. Like if you're building your tolerance for a medication or coffee or something, you start with a small dose and you just take that small dose and you allow your body to adapt, to essentially get comfortable with that small dose. And then you can take a bigger dose without it being a big deal. You're essentially doing the same thing, but with your life, with the success that you desire. And so what you're doing here is you're going to look in your life for things that represent to you, are in resonance to you with the life that you want, the business that you want, the amount of abundance, of freedom, of pleasure and luxury that you want, but in a small dose. So that it doesn't feel too much, so that it doesn't feel far out, so that it doesn't feel like this is somebody else's life, not my life. And then over time, as you're experiencing this, your body just starts to normalize itself to it and starts to expect it and starts to increase its capacity for it. In some ways, this is exposure therapy. So part of the homework for you is you're going to find, or you're going to cultivate, a smaller version of your dream that is actually available for you now. And so I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that this future version of you and this future life, when you have all the success that you want, this version of you, she gets 90-minute massages every single week. Well, that might not be something you can do now, but maybe what you can do is you can go to that local massage place and get a foot rub a couple times a month. And you can just sit there and enjoy and start becoming the man or the woman who gets to relax in that way on a regular basis, who gets massages on a regular basis, even if it's a tiny version of that. So you're going to find your thing, and then you're going to, and I'm going to give you more example right at the end of this training. And you're going to essentially teach your body to relax in that experience, to expect and to feel like that experience belongs to you and you belong to it, and it's completely normal and natural. And over time, your comfort level with it will become so normal, so natural that you don't even think twice about it. It's an automatic. It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel too much. It doesn't feel indulgent in any ways. And when you are so comfortable with it that it feels totally normal and natural to you, and you're almost taken aback when you tell someone and they're like, really, you do that? And you're like, you don't? Like, what's the big deal? Like when it feels like no big deal inside you, that's when you know that your nervous system is ready for more. That's when you know that like receiving more will not trigger any kind of resistance inside you, that you'll be able to receive that next level version of that dream without sabotage, without self-doubt, without sacrifice, without feeling like you have to earn it, or you have to make it happen, or you have to give back and pay for it in some ways. So let me give you a few more examples of how you can create scenarios that allow your body to familiarize itself with abundance, and with you living the life that you want. So one of the common one I will tell my clients, especially if they want to travel the world, is I will tell them to go work in the nicest hotel in town and experience what it feels like to work remotely, not from home, in a really nice, luxurious environment. Or if you are somebody who wants to travel and wants to have that level of freedom, maybe you don't get to do that a lot. Maybe you get to do that for a weekend here and there. And so just taking weekend trips, taking small trips, and starting to normalize traveling in your body. Super simple ones. Upgrading things that you take for granted, like your underwear, like getting a really luxurious pair of underwear, like getting rid of all your holy and old pairs and then getting some new, really soft, really luscious, really comfortable socks, underwear, shirts, like essentially start to normalize somatically in your body pleasure, lusciousness, feeling rich, having an overflow that you can actually get really nice underwear, buying a really soft rug that you put in your office. And so when you're working with clients, your feet are like actually touching the rug and you're feeling just the lusciousness, the softness, and your brain is going to start associating clients with warmth and softness and comfort, and start to associate work with ease and with nourishment. Buying a really yummy perfume that when you smell it, it makes you think of the most powerful, the most confident, the wealthiest, most abundant version of you. And then, you know, like use it whenever you're going to a meeting or you're going on a sales call, anytime you need to embody that version of you. So your homework is to essentially find a mini version of the life that you want, something simple that is available to you now, that won't trigger any sense of shutdown, any sense of contraction, any sense of like, that's not for me, that's for other people. And that will allow your brain to really see that it is possible for you. It is you. that this life that you want is you. And it will allow your body to start to normalize it, to sense the pleasure, the abundance, the wealth and ease that you desire, and to relax in that and to start to claim it as your own. So here's your journaling prompt to help you kind of figure that out. I want to invite you to make a list. Make a list of the top 3 things you would like to achieve, receive, create, have in maybe the second half of this year, like by the new year. And then ask yourself, what is 1 or 2 small things I can do for each that put me in the energy, in the vibration, in the resonance, in the essence of those things. Like when I do this one thing, or when I experience this 1 or 2 thing, it makes me feel like my big goal. It connects me to it. So what you're looking for is you're looking for something you're going to do or create or provide for yourself, or a place you're going to put yourself in that's going to put you in the experience, in the felt sense, in the energy of having achieved that goal, even if it's at a smaller version. And then you do that, and you relax in that, and you get comfortable with those activities, those actions, those things you purchase. And you do that until you feel so comfortable with it that it feels second nature. It feels totally normal. It doesn't feel like it's a step where it's like, for example, I'm going to give you a personal example. So one of the things I really wanted to normalize in my own life was that my business was really spacious. And so I literally started taking a 4 to 5 day weekend at the end of every month. Essentially, the last week of the month, I only work 2 or 3 days. And at first that felt weird. And now it's like, I don't even think twice about it. I don't even consider it. Then the next step was taking an extra Friday here and there so I could have 3 day weekends on the other. And at first it was like, I would do it for one Friday, like 1 Friday out of the 3 remaining Fridays. And then it would be like every other Friday. So I'd have 2, but I'd still work 1. And now, unless I'm taking some other days off, like I just block out those Fridays and I don't even think twice about it. And weirdly, even though I technically have less appointment time and less time on my schedule for clients to work with me, it's the most spacious that I feel. And I have more clients than ever. And yet it doesn't feel like any kind of crunchiness, because I've normalized spaciousness and I'm normalized having free time for myself. And literally my brain like works with it, works around it, figures it out all on its own without me having to stress about it. So let me know if this makes sense. And if you want help, like figuring this out for yourself, like what are my things that I could do that would help me be in the resonance of what I want to create and in the frequency of overflow? What are my small things that I could normalize that would essentially set me up for success somatically? Because then my capacity would be ready for more. And there would be no sacrifice, no overwhelm, no friction when more comes. Essentially, like what people don't realize, like especially as entrepreneurs, we're always like doing all the shit to get what we want, but we're actually not paying attention whether or not we are ready for them. So it's a little bit like you plant a seed and you're watering and you're doing all this stuff, but you didn't pay attention whether or not the soil had any nutrients, whether the soil was ready to receive the seed. And that's what this level of the work in a very experiential way. Like a lot of the nervous system work I do is about increasing capacity somatically and with your brain, but this is a way of doing it in real life, in real time, so that you essentially ready yourself for the big expansion you know is coming. so that when it does come, it's smooth sailing. So today was part 5. In a few days, we're going to do part 6. And in part 6, I'm going to dive into identity work, which for me is a ripple of this. Like when you're talking about starting to shift your life to be in resonance with the bigger vision that you have, which is what today was about, and essentially normalizing a bigger life for yourself. Really what you're talking about is not only shifting your nervous system and your body and your brain and priming yourself somatically and in a biochemistry kind of way for the big life you want, you're also starting to shift your identity. Because I guarantee you that the version of you who has no qualms about buying really expensive underwear, or who takes long weekends for themselves, or goes and works around the pool at the nicest hotel in town, that version of you is not the version of you that you were 3 months before. So we're going to continue this, and we're going to talk about identity in our next training, and essentially how to awaken that visionary CEO within you, and how to activate your most powerful and luminous leadership within you. And if you want to go deeper with this work, obviously you want to embody a new paradigm, a new way of being, so that you're deeply regulated, relaxed, resourced, and rich, then it would be my great honor to put all my years of experience, over 22 years, as a psychotherapist, as a healer, as an expansion expert, and as a strategist, working with visionary leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, practitioners, and to take all of that experience, hundreds of clients, and put that to work for you and your own expansion. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, then just check the description of this training. I've put a couple different options in there. There's one that's free, and the other are paid. Okay. I will see you in a few days. Bye.